I'm gonna guess that something dumb is gonna happen.
Oh, yeah. It's Commander Time. Welcome to Commander Time. We are yet another podcast about the Magic the Gathering format known as Commander. Did I say that right?
That was, yeah.
Commander.
That was perfect. There you go.
Commander.
It's like condor, but with an sound. Comder, yeah.
All right. Condorma. Today, we're going to talk about some articles that we wrote in July. We'll talk about some upcoming articles that are going to show up in August. Then we'll talk about a game we just played. Yeah, quick game. We'll tell you what our pets have been doing. And along the way, maybe it's at the start. Maybe it's at the end. I don't know yet. Along the way, maybe you'll hear a goofy song. But first, what happens first?
As a reminder, GP Minneapolis is coming up, which is starting to freak me out.
Are you so hyped?
I've completely forgot about it for like a month and a half while I was moving. So now all of a sudden I have my stuff all together and I'm like, oh, right, that was a thing. Oh boy.
Make sure to bring all your best decks.
Yeah.
Get ready.
I'm going to
get them all pretty.
Yep. So come and fight me, bro.
Come fight me in real life?
Yeah. IRL, I'm ripped. Ignore all evidence to the contrary, please.
I've seen your Facebook pictures.
I'm ripped, yeah.
Yeah, totally ripped.
Yeah, so listeners, come to GP Minneapolis and fight Patrick in a metaphorical fashion.
Yes.
By playing Commander.
Yeah. You might face my Relentless Rats deck, or my Mechanized Production combo deck. You never know. Both are fun. For me.
Shout out to our patron of the week, Cameron Weller. The main topic.
What deck are you brewing for this month, Patrick?
For this month, since I am only monthly, we just talked about my Scarab God deck, and as far as updates go, I think the community has really latched on to the idea of the Scarab God, and I've really started to actually kind of take off with it. I haven't put in a lot more thought into the deck outside of, man, I kind of wish I owned a Scarab God so I could actually, put the cards together and really play test it with my local meta here and see what I can kind of get away with without being targeted too easily. So I think the Scarab God is like, if you are a new brewer that wants to get their name out, now's a great time to strike for the Scarab God, I think, because not everything has been explored quite yet, and people are still very interested in him.
It's pretty open-ended, isn't he?
He's very open-ended. It's very nice, too. You can just go strict value, or you can go like a hardcore combo like I ended up doing in the article. I think the biggest changes I would make now is add War of Invention, just because that card is bonkers, and any way you can find Mind Crank easier is great.
Would you add Rooftop Storm?
No.
Do you have enough zombies?
No, I have 3 zombies in the list, so it's not great. But you're gonna
add Grey Merchant of Asphodel?
Yeah, probably.
I still really wish that these 3 gods had been zombie gods.
Yeah, but then they would have a type outside of God, and that would would strangify the whole God cycle of what it means to be a god.
I don't know. Would it?
Maybe.
They're literally embalmed gods, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like they're also enchantments.
But what I am doing currently is I am probably a third of the way through on a list for a mono white Paradox Engine deck. I personally I want to emphasize how powerful Paradox Engine is. So I wanted to go with one of the underrepresented possible colors, just to be like, yo, mono white can get busted with Paradox Engine, much like any other color combination. So that's kind of why I wanted to go just straight mono white and really kind of hamstring myself as much as possible.
So you're intending to prove the point harder by giving yourself a handicap.
Yeah. And it's still going to one-shot people.
Spoiler alert. Paradox Engine is powerful.
Yes. So the first thing we got to know is what are the the biggest reason why Paradox Engine can go in any deck is because there's a kind of a Paradox Engine package that you can include, and there's a common theme between these. Let me see if you guys can figure it out. Okay, Mox Diamond, Mana Vault, Chrome Mox, Mind Stone, Mox Opal, any Signet. Mana Crypt.
Any Signet.
Any of them. Doesn't matter. So long as they're in your colors. Soul Ring.
Mono white.
Well, if you're in mono white, then you can do the marble.
So what's the common thread?
Let's see. Artifacts.
It
looks like they're all artifacts. They all have the tap symbol on them, don't they?
Yeah.
They all have a converted mana cost.
So with Paradox Engine out, they're not land, so they'll untap whenever you cast something. And when you tap them, they all do something. What do they do?
They add a whole boatload of mana for very cheap.
Ooh.
That's kind of what's going on here. So specifically, these are what allow you to keep casting spells. It turns any spell into free. Basically, you can just dump your hand over and over and over again.
Better than free. It nets you mana, right?
It can.
Well, it should.
Well, it should, unless you're dumping your mana for some reason. So
I don't need all this mana. I'm gonna dump it.
Yep. Just move on to my next phase. Pass priority. That in itself doesn't end games, and there's dumber things you can do with Paradox Engine than just value everything. So I just wanted to, be like, hey, even if you're not a hardcore combo player and you don't want to combo out for a win or anything like that, it's important to understand what the Paradox Engine package looks like, so that if you just happen to have these cards, because a lot of them are kind of expensive anyway, you can just slot them into just about any value deck or any deck period, and you'll suddenly just be far ahead in the mid to late game, or sometimes the early game if your opening hand is just the most rampy ramp deck ever.
Rampy McRamperson.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 of those you can cast them with 0 mana, and then if you have a land you can get out most of the rest of them. So but the main mono white combo that I'm going for is going to be Endless Horizons and Oracle's Vault in conjunction with Paradox Engine. So what Endless Horizons does, it's a 3 and a white for an enchantment. When it comes into play, you can search your library for any number of planes cards and remove them from the game. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you can put a card removed this way from Endless Horizons into your hand. So it's a kind of a really strange way to guarantee you're always going to be drawing a spell and having land. I honestly think it should probably be played in just about any mono white deck. It's not necessarily for the combo kill or anything like that, but it's something that mono white already has a problem of trying to be super consistent, and I think Endless Horizons can actually prove to be very consistent for you, so long as you don't decide to go all in and remove all your planes for no reason, unless you have all the planes you need.
Well, I don't want to draw my planes.
Yeah, unless you don't want to, in which case, more power to you. But in this particular deck, we are going to literally remove every single land we can with it. And the reason why is for Oracle's Vault, which is 4 for an artifact, 2 and tap, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card, put a brick counter on Oracle's Vault, which is fine. for the first part of that, you can actually just play your lands off the top of that, which actually is great. Now, the problem is that its second activated ability, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. Activate this ability only if there's 3 or more brick counters on Oracle Vault.
And you don't want to waste that on a land.
Yeah, you don't want to waste that on a land. Also, if you play a land, it doesn't trigger Paradox Engine. So you want to cast whatever you want for free to untap Paradox Engine and get you more mana. And then just keep going. And basically...
Untap Oracle's Vault?
Yep, untap Oracle's Vault, and then you're just... Yeah, you cast your entire library at that point.
Oh, it's not once each turn.
No,
okay.
It is...
Only limited by your imagination.
Yeah, so this is honestly probably one of the first combos I saw when Oracle's Vault was spoiled, and it made me very interested with what you can do. I think there's definitely an argument for a Boros build where your mana base is all plains, or at least searchable. You can try to grab out all of the mountains or something like that. With Endless Horizons, it's a little less consistent, but you could probably get away with it and make it kind of a little bit more Boros-y. I don't think it's better necessarily, but there's an argument for it if you wanted to really try for it. The other really nice thing about this particular combo is that we can now slide in Goblin Charbelcher, just as a Miser's if somebody stops the Oracle's Vault combo somewhere else.
Is that a nice thing?
Well, it's nice for you. I mean, you can just kill everybody. So you just like, hey Dean, I'm going to 70 you. Thunk. And then I'm going to cast a spell, untap it with Paradox Engine, and then I'm going to 70 you again. It plays into the combo quite nicely. So this is really where I'm pointing my article towards, is trying to show everybody why Paradox Engine should probably be in most value decks at the very least. Well, it's gross. It's a gross card, and I like it.
So if you play your Endless Horizons early before you get the Paradox Engine and the Oracle's Vault out, and then I destroy the Endless Horizons, all your planes are exiled?
Yes.
Okay. So do you play Endless Horizons last?
Maybe. Yeah, really, so long as I have enough mana to cast Paradox Engine and maybe protect it. And then, because at that point, that's just 5 mana. Oracle's Vault is 4, and Endless Horizons is 4. Anything beyond that is gravy in terms of extra mana. And since all of my ramp cards with that kind of go along with Paradox Engine they're either 1, 2, or free to cast for the most part, you're pretty much good to go on mana rocks and all that. So it becomes much more of a game of card advantage. And once you get the Oracle's Vault combo going, you kind of have the maximum amount of card advantage.
Have you actually used this sort of combo in your paper builds yet?
No. I don't actually own a Paradox Engine.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. If I did, I'd be the only one in my play group to have one, and I'd be a very happy boy.
You might see more Vandal Blasts and Abrades in your meta pop up.
Yeah.
And Into the Core, and Fracturing Gust.
Crossing Grips.
Bane of Progress. And did I say Return to Dust?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Return to Dust.
I got Forsake the Worldly.
I got double Return to Dust on Friday with my Nekuzar deck. Underworld Dreams got hit, and so did As Foretold with 7 counters on it. Sometimes I'm just not allowed to have nice things.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Nekuzar he's helping everybody until he stops.
He's perfectly fair.
Yeah, he's perfectly fair. At first, everybody's...
One life is the going rate for a card, right?
Yeah.
Haven't people played with 5X Arena?
That's what I'm saying. I even run Phyrexian Arena in that deck.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you run it in any black deck?
These are the real questions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like I have this small stockpile of Phyrexian Arenas that I'm trying to pawn off or anything.
Do you?
I have a couple.
I could use one.
Yeah, well, we can figure something out.
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I got distracted thinking of Kaideli Eldrazi with
Oracle's Vault?
Paradox Engine and Oracle's Vault.
Yeah.
Why does everything go to Eldrazi with you?
There's a green card that takes all the land out of your deck, right?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
There's also a blue one for, what is it, Mana Severance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kaideli Eldrazi.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I wanted to look at processors for Rune.
Okay.
I don't...
What,
I'm not looking...
What do you think of processors with the Scarab God?
Oh, I think that's a combo I haven't heard people talk about that combo yet.
I've heard it mentioned. I think was it on...
Yeah, I heard Henry mention it.
Yeah, Henry was talking about it.
That sounds like something Henry would talk about.
Oh, it sounds really nice. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, the Scarab God exiles, and then you throw it back in and do it again.
Yeah, you can really get some hardcore value out of that.
So you can basically keep cloning someone's Grey Merchant of Asphodel, for example, as long as you have enough Scarab God mana to keep doing it.
Yep.
Oh, who would do that?
And processors to throw them back in. That's a lot of steps, though.
It is a bit.
Yeah.
A couple of hoops.
You need to find real good processors.
Well, you also need to find some nice bounce for your... Because aren't the processing cast effects, or are they enter the battlefield effects?
The processes are both cast triggers, and also some of them have activated abilities, like Cryptic Cruiser. You can pay 2 and a blue to put a card an opponent owns from exile into that player's graveyard to tap target creature.
No, that sounds like a perfect one.
Yeah.
I remember Henry saying that and thinking to myself, oh man, why didn't I think of that?
Oracle of Dust is probably even better. For 2 generic, you can put a card an opponent owns from exile into that player's graveyard to draw a card and then discard a card.
Hey, could my Oblivion Sower take all your planes from Endless Horizons?
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet. All right, I'm in. I'm in. Okay, speaking of me being in, I'll talk about my articles from last month. So I wrote 2 articles, one about Reyhan Last of the Abzan. I like that article better, so I'll talk about it second. And the other one is Akiri Lineslinger. I mean, thematically, she's basically Batman, because she swings around on ropes and she has a bunch of gadgets. And the more gadgets she has, the better she is at fighting. Right?
Oh my god!
You are not wrong.
Oh my god, she's even the right colors for Batman. Like he's all about law and order, so that's the white, and he's very emotional, so that's why he has to take law into his own hands.
Maybe a little bit blue also, but sure.
Well, yeah, but that's more of an ad hoc addition to the Batman character to make him more invincible, you know? Like the great detective and all that. Really, that's not really what's core to the character.
Not anymore. Originally, it was Detective Comics.
True.
And he was doing detective stuff.
It's still Detective Comics. DC.
In a costume. Yep. So that's what it stands for. So Akiri Lineslinger, she's the Zendikar version of Batman. She has First Strike and Vigilance, and gets +1 bonus power for every artifact you control. So what do you think we're going to do?
Just like Batman.
We're going to fill our deck with artifacts. Lots of gadgets for Zendikari Batman to use. She gets stronger with the more gadgets you have, so she's probably going to be a Voltron. And we're in Boros colors, so let's double our damage a bunch of ways.
I like that she's just so cheap to cast.
She is pretty cheap. Yeah, she can come out on turn 2 or maybe turn 1 if you've got Moxen. If you got a herd of Moxen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly what draws me most to her. It means you can actually get her out before a lot of your, like, big payoffs for artifacts, so you can actually just, like, get a swords down and attached and then swing, instead of the reverse in a lot of those Voltron decks where you kind of have to sandbag or just like really hold on to those really good enchantments and artifacts and things like that you really want to Voltron onto her.
Yeah, it's a deck that's pretty dependent on artifacts, so if your opponents are playing Artifact Hate or a Stony Silence or something like that, then your deck is kind of done until you can make some ally with somebody who can get rid of those things for you. That's how you do it, people.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't always work, but that's how you try to do it. So, Akiri Lineslinger is in the Brea Precon. Hey, so is Silas Wren, Seeker Adept, and he likes artifacts too. So, you could just take the Brea Precon and put Akiri and Silas Wren as your partner commanders, and still a pretty strong deck for a Precon. To make it good, you'd still have to swap out a few cards. But that's not what I did. Comparing other legendary commanders who also like artifacts and do combat stuff. There's Jor Kadeen the Prevailer is a pretty close match. He's got first strike, and he gets a small power bonus as long as you control 3 or more artifacts with Metalcraft. And there's a few Metalcraft cards that I like. If you want to go in black, Bleak Coven Vampires is 3 black, 4/3 creature vampire warrior, and if you control 3 or more artifacts when it enters the battlefield, target player loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. If you have a way of recurring that or blinking it infinite times, then you can kill everyone, sure. And Lumen Grid Drake is 3 and a blue creature drake. It's flying. If you got 3 or more artifacts, return target creature to its owner's hand. So again, if you can recur that or blink it, you can get rid of everybody's stuff for a while. Then here's a weird guy I haven't seen before. Meraxus of Keld. 4 red. He's let's get some Oracle text up here.
He has, he has some of those, like, Liefeld comic book muscles where they're just, like, way too big for what is...
Is this the thing that gets +1/+1 for each untapped permanent you control?
His power and toughness are equal to the number of untapped artifacts, creatures, and lands you control.
Geez. Okay, never mind. So it is basically permanent minus enchantments.
And planeswalkers.
Yeah, and everything. If you tap everything down, then he dies. You have to leave something untapped for him to survive.
And he's totally perfect for this deck because he's Bane.
Yeah, he does look like Bane. He's got a mask, and he's just showing off way too many muscles.
Yeah, like I said.
And he's got some extra veins and hoses pumping stuff into those muscles.
His muscles have muscles.
Yes.
Yeah, just like
Meraxus.
Liefeld muscles.
I have no master. I am chaos. That's the flavor text.
That's what it says.
So yeah, there's not many decks for him on EDH Rec, probably because he's mono red and he costs 6 mana. So,
but he does get that power bump from artifacts, just like Akiri.
Yeah, he does. So, if you're looking for some equipment that'll boost his power and give you some good effect, and Akiri's going to like stuff like that. So, Tenza, Godo's Maul, Sword of Vengeance, and Champion's Helm. We probably see Champion's Helm a lot. And you'll see Tenza, Godo's Maul whenever you see a mono-red Voltron type deck. And a cute part of Akiri's ability is that if you can suddenly get a Mycosynth Lattice on the field, then all of your lands boost Akiri's power.
Oh my. That's good.
Yeah, kind of like that Nightmare Lash in a mono black deck.
Who did you end up pairing her with here, Nate?
Oh, let's see. Skipping ahead. Oh, I paired her with Reyhan, Last of the Abzan, because I didn't want to do blue affinity stuff again.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just kind of tired of looking at that stuff. Wanted to try something new. Some more artifact shenanigans you can look at. There's keywords like improvise and fabricate. They're from the recent Kaladesh block sets. And they both make some artifacts or make your artifact stuff cheaper. Stuff like that. Just like Batman, Akiri likes clues to solve the mysteries. So let's make some clue tokens. Tamio's journal, magnifying glass. Look up stuff that makes clue tokens. Throw them in there. Skipping over the usual Voltron stuff. Enchantment artifacts. They affect all your creatures. The legendary enchantment artifacts. Like Bow of Nihilea would give her Death Touch 2. Whip of Erebos would give her Lifelink. Hammer of Perforos gives her haste. And they're all artifacts. So they give her a little power boost too.
Seems good.
Yeah, so I did kind of a very creature and artifact heavy deck.
The bonus to Hammer of Perforos, though, is that you can also start turning your lands into 3/3 colorless golems, too.
Which are artifacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. So I'm not totally happy with Reyhan in there, but I like the colors. You could probably use Ikra Shadiki just as well, because I don't have too many things that have +1/+1 counters. It's mostly about artifacts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's my Akiri. Akira!
Canada!
Yeah. The next article I'll talk about is Reyhan, Last of the Abzan. Like the Atraxa Precon, him and Ishai Ojutai Dragon Speaker. They're the two partners that have +1/+1 counter on their text. And if you put them as your partners instead of Atraxa, you can do it. It kind of works. Because the Atraxa deck already has so much stuff that gives you benefits when you have +1/+1 counters or puts more +1/+1 counters. That Atraxa Precon really likes +1/+1 counters on creatures.
What a surprise.
Anyway, yeah, and a lot of the cards in there are part of the subset of Abzan Tribal, which is something I touch on. The Abzan cards, the whole bunch of them, have stuff to do with +1/+1 counters, so you could make an Abzan Tribal theme deck, and it would still fit Reyhan's strategy pretty well.
Might not even be too bad.
Yeah. So if you throw in either Ravos Soul Tender, Timna the Weaver, or Sidar Kondo of Jamora, you can have a Abzan-colored deck. I go over the Fabricate ability a little bit more. That gets to either make +1/+1 counters or 1/1 servo artifact creature tokens. So, yeah, either Reyhan or Akiri likes Fabricate cards. Modular artifact creatures. All these guys with Arcbound in the name. They kind of do what Reyhan already does. And if you have them both out, they'll both trigger. And you'll get double the counters. Expanding the colors, we want to see what else there is. We search the legendary creatures with text that say +1/+1 counter, and to make our search a little bit easier, because we have already looked at all the mono black and mono green and Golgari commanders, presumably, you put or red, blue, white in your colors, and that'll give you a list of commanders that meet your criteria and also have some color outside of what you are already looking at with black and green. I'll just roll off some highlights. Animar, Soul of Elements, Ashling the Pilgrim, the original Borborygmos, Izuri, Claw of Progress. You could look for a long time in the Simic creatures for good stuff that has stuff to do with +1/+1 counters.
You could just get lost.
And
then mutate.
Yeah. And get a counter. And evolve.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Grenzo, Dungeon Warden, Kresh the Bloodbraided, Marquesa the Black Rose, Olivia Voldaren, Zadek, Lord of Secrets.
That would be wonderful.
Maybe. Yeah. The Mimeoplasm, and Vorosh the Hunter. And everybody I just named is some kind of legendary creature that does stuff with +1/+1 counters. And so I put them all in my deck. All of them.
When in doubt, just jam it all.
Because I want Reyhan and Marquesa on the field at the same time. I think that'll be cool. And I want to have Animar to help me cast Thraxamundar and stuff like that. So I made all creatures deck. It's got 58 creatures.
Oh my.
I kind of love this deck.
And it's got, I got one Primal Surge.
Because why wouldn't
just
you?
to do it.
Just to get all those creatures out.
Let's see, do you have any haste enablers?
I don't No. Do I have mail? I think I stuck to creatures that all were either mana dorks or they have something to do with +1/+1 counters.
Yeah.
Let's look for haste. Maybe I don't have anything with haste, but hey, make everyone poop their pants for a turn. That's always fun.
That's the most fun.
And really, really hope nobody has a board wipe.
Yeah, so we're all pooping our pants a little. It's good times.
Pooping your pants?
All pooping your pants together.
All the time. All right.
That's why we play Commander.
Oh, my.
Oh, I have Maelstrom Wanderer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He'll give my creature
There we go.
haste.
You got there.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, for my July articles, I covered... I started this series back in June with Future Sight, and I finished it up in July. I did Planar Chaos and Time Spiral, highlighting such fun cards as Voidstone Gargoyle in Planar Chaos, Dismal Failure, which is a counterspell that forces a discard, and some other fun stuff like Magus of the Library. And I did Time Spiral just this last Tuesday, and talked about Pentarch Paladin Wipe Away, which was surprisingly generated a lot of buzz. Have you guys seen this card before? It's got Split Second and return target permanent to its owner's hand for 1 blue.
Honestly, I think the only time I've heard of it is when you linked it to me.
And then Time Spiral. So Fortune Thief, which is sort of like a Platinum Angel kind of in red. If damage would reduce your life total to less than 1, it reduces it to 1 instead. So check those out if you haven't already, and then I'll give you a bit of a sneak peek about what I'm doing in August. Though by the time this comes out, it may already be out. But let's do a round of. Would you play that card?
Ooh, my favorite game.
Yeah.
Would you play that card?
Oh no.
So in August, I'm going to be covering Visions from way back when in, 1997.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 20 years.
That is exactly 20 years, isn't it?
These cards are 20 years old.
So be kind to your elders, everybody.
So first in our game of Would You Play That Card is Equipoise. It sees play in 123 decks. It's an enchantment for 2 and a white. And it says, during your upkeep, for each land target player controls in excess of the number of lands you control, target land he or she controls phases out. Repeat this process for artifacts and then for creatures. Would you guys play this card?
I like that. That's annoying. Yeah, I think I would play that card.
I feel like it's you know what? If I'm gonna have to play mono white, so do you.
Phasing gets rid of it for the one turn and then it comes back, but every other turn they have like half their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And notably, it is target land and target creature and target artifact, so you get to choose what phases out.
Wait, what? Target land? Oh, wow.
Get rid of that Gaia's Cradle.
Oh, wow.
Go away, Gaia's Cradle.
Over 2 turns, you set up an oscillation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They can only have either their Cabal Coffers or their Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth.
Yeah, and you can always add to the list as they're playing out cards, too. Assuming you're still behind.
Yeah, that's annoying. Thumbs up from Plorg.
All right. Next up, we have Teferi's Realm, which is another enchantment for 1 blue. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player chooses artifacts, creatures, lands, or global enchantments. All cards of that type phase out. Would you play it?
Nope. It affects me too.
Yeah.
It does. So just don't run one of those things.
You know, I might actually play this, but for the dumbest reason. My playgroup often ends up with 5 players, so we do a lot of 5-pointed star. And so if you are actually playing the politics of 5-pointed star, you can get your 2 allies to choose very nicely for each other. And it adds another layer of confusion to everything.
Fun for politics, right?
Yeah. Other than that, no. I wouldn't run this.
Fair enough.
Nope.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah, I think the double blue in the casting cost is also a negative for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me so much.
If it was 2 and a single blue, I'd consider it more.
All right.
2 and a blue, also known as Ristic Study.
Well, next up is the same exact cost, 1 blue. This card is Undo. It's a sorcery. It sees play in 41 decks, and it simply says, return 2 target creatures to their owner's hand.
No.
Nope.
No?
No, I need my bounce to be instant speed.
That's a fair point. I don't know. For me, this reminds me of like a blue version of the black spell that exiles 2 creatures.
Ashes to Ashes.
Is that what? Oh yeah, it is Ashes to Ashes.
There's another one that does a similar thing.
Yeah, Relentless Spider, something like that. Or
Yeah.
it destroys 2 target non-black creatures.
Yeah, instead of exile.
Right. So this is the same cost and the same speed as those 2 spells, but it just bounces them with no restriction on the type of creature.
Nope.
It's pretty cheap. I don't know. I think I would try it.
No.
As a sorcery,
Yeah,
though?
it's a sorcery, but
That's a huge mark against it. A 3-mana bounce 2 creatures. I mean, the reason why Ashes to Ashes works so well for that slot is because you just get rid of those creatures. They're gone.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's definitely a fair
Get 'em out.
point for Ashes to Ashes. But I did a bit of research. This is actually the cheapest spell that says bounce 2 creatures, except for Whiplash Trap sometimes. Because Whiplash Trap is an instant for 3 blue that bounces 2 creatures, unless an opponent had 2 or more creatures enter the battlefield under his or her control, then you can pay just a blue.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Next up is Desolation. This is another enchantment for 1 black. At the end of each turn, each player who tapped a land for mana during that turn sacrifices a land. If a plains is sacrificed in this way, Desolation deals 2 damage to that plains controller. Would you play it?
Oh, that's kind of neat.
It does hit you as well. It sounds like it would go great in a Braids deck that is no longer legal as a commander.
Yeah, it probably would.
It'd be good if your meta is full of counter spells.
Yeah, it works real well against control decks, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's a minor bonus against white decks, I suppose.
It's kind of like a super Stone Shaker Shaman. That one's for 2 and a red, you get a 1/1 creature, and he says at the beginning of each player's end step, that player sacrifices an untapped land. So it's actually sort of the inverse. If you played them both together, people are screwed either way. Patrick, you're making exasperated noises.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
I don't like it enough.
Yeah, I don't like it enough either, but I can see a mono black build that would run it. With things like with all of your swamps tapping for like 1 billion instead of the normal amount. That's the build you'd want to put this in.
Seems good in Kothafed.
Yeah.
Get Rog again.
Or if you are if you're the type of deck that wants to get out ahead really quick and then just keep the board hostage, Desolation seems like a great card for that.
Yeah. Because once it comes out, there's no real way for anyone to get ahead on mana without casting mana rocks or a pretty big ramp spell.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got... Okay, so this one's kind of weird, and I think you guys are both going to say you won't play this card, but we'll see. Dark Privilege, for 1 and a black, it's an aura. It says, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Sacrifice a creature. Regenerate enchanted creature. This sees play in 43 decks. Would you play it?
I own and I believe an Italian version of this card. Yep.
Why?
I don't know.
Why not?
I literally don't know. It's like this the only Italian card I own, and I always have to look it up because I never remember what it does.
Yeah. You didn't get it for the art, did
No.
you?
That super awesome art?
Don't know where I got it. It just is in my collection in a box somewhere. Yeah, it's good. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather run any of the aristocrats instead. But if I needed yet another one, or if I was trying very hard to go with like a Voltron black deck,
sure.
Yeah.
The problem with auras usually is that when the creature dies, you lose the aura, but with Dark Privilege, it makes it much more difficult to remove the creature. It gives it, early indestructible, pseudo-indestructible.
Sure. I guess. I mean, aura enchantments are already an edge case for me. There has to be something specific with the commander for me to consider a lot of those.
Sure.
It's a great way to ask to get 2 for 1 or more than 1.
It is, sure. And if you get, pathed or sorted, you're going to lose your Dark Privilege, but...
Okay, a Mazarek token deck. That's what I got.
Go. Yeah, that seems good.
So who does use Dark Privilege? Let's check. Shirei Shizo's Caretaker with 15 decks. Mazarek is at 3 decks. He's in 4th place. Okay.
Let's see. Next up here, we've got Heatwave. This is an enchantment. It sees play in 9 decks. It's 2 and a red. Cumulative upkeep, red. Blue creatures cannot block creatures you control. Non-blue creatures cannot block creatures you control unless their controller pays an additional 1 life for each blocking creature. Would you play it?
Nope.
Let's see, I'm already in red. I want to turn... You know what? I think there are better versions of this.
Oh, yeah. Like Bedlam.
Yeah.
Oh, but that affects you.
Sure.
But who cares? I'm turning sideways.
I'm in mono red. I don't have any blockers. Everything's attacking.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, this was my my token red card. I think the effect is interesting. If it didn't have cumulative upkeep, it would certainly be more playable.
Yeah. Tying up so much mana for that. I mean, it's a...
Yeah, just run Braid of Fire. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to... It's the worst idea. That is the worst idea.
No, you use Braid of Fire specifically to power your Heatwave.
You just go ahead and play them both on the same turn.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
That's what you do.
That's not what I do.
No, I'd rather just run Braid of Fire.
Yeah.
Cut this and then, I don't know, run a fireball instead.
Yeah.
All right. We've got 2 to go here.
Okay.
Quirion Druid. She's playing 38 decks. This is a 2 and a green for a Druid. It's a 1/2. You can pay green and tap it. Target land becomes a 2/2 green creature. That land still counts as a land. And notably, this effect does not end at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Play it?
Yes.
That's cute.
Yes, I
Yeah.
would.
Druid? Elf druid.
yes.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd run this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cute.
It's too bad that you can't make their lands become 2/2s right after they play it, and then they can just tap it instead. Because I was just thinking
You
about
can't respond to the land coming into play.
Yeah.
You could if there's a landfall effect. You can respond to the trigger.
Yeah, but even then they can just tap it in response to get the
That's
mana
true.
from it. But which is sad. Because otherwise you could just hamstring one player each turn. Make
Sure.
sure they're a land behind.
Sure.
Your lands don't have haste.
Your lands died on my board wipe.
Exactly. Alright, last up here, we've got Army Ants. This he's playing 68 decks. It's a 1/1 insect for 1 black and red. You can tap it and sacrifice a land to destroy target land. Would you play it?
No. A 1/1 for 3 is already a tall order.
Yeah.
And if and I have to sacrifice my own lands,
I'm in the wrong colors.
I don't like that.
I'm in the wrong colors for it.
So I actually like this quite a bit. It turns once per wheel of the table. It turns one of your lands into a strip mine. That's the way I think about it.
Sure.
I mean, if you're playing Crucible of Worlds, sure. But
Sure.
Or Ramunap Excavator.
I mean, if I was running a Gitrog monster plus red, like a Jund Gitrog monster, then maybe.
Yeah, that deck exists.
Because
You got to get your lands back.
Yeah, you want to get your lands back.
You need another point of value outside of getting the
I mean,
land
people
back.
do run Wasteland and Dust Bowl as just value lands to get rid of problem stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to pay 3 mana for a 1/1,
Well, that's
though.
true. But
If I was on a budget and I needed land hate, I guess I wouldn't put Ghost Quarter.
as far as it goes, this is a relatively cheap land spot removal engine. And notably also, you can sacrifice a tap land, so it doesn't even cost you a mana to wasteland somebody or to strip mine somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is cheaper than Ghost Quarter, which is the cheapest land destruction card I can think of.
Yeah, yep. Definitely cheaper than that.
Or land destruction. Well, Ghost Quarter is only $1.25, so it doesn't break the bank, usually.
Yeah, I guess I don't run Strip Mine or Wasteland often enough to really have a great opinion of this.
Fair enough.
So, defer to people that do run those cards.
Mm-hmm. Like me.
Sure.
And I vote no.
I vote maybe.
All right.
Because, the reason why I vote no is because it takes up a spell slot. Or a creature slot. It's not worth it on its own. The reason why you were on a strip mine or a dust bowl or something like that is that it's a land in addition to, so you're essentially getting a free spell. Here, it's very expensive.
Sure. Well, it may have a place somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our articles. Who else wrote some good articles last month?
It's like Dana did.
Yeah. Dana Roach from the CMC podcast came out with another In the Margins, this time featuring Beseech the Queen. And it's all about why you should not run Beseech the Queen, and you should basically run any other tutor in EDH.
Oh. Because
there's other strictly better stuff. Go check it out. It's really good. This is one of my favorite series on EDH Rec right now.
I had a discussion with him with this in our chat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah. I said that I like Beseech the Queen. And that when I see him at next weekend, we're going to duke it out. No.
You're going to fight in real life?
Yeah, we're gonna fight IRL. And he's going to see how ripped I am.
Liefeld muscles.
Yeah.
Just tape a picture of the new Swords to Plowshares art to your shirt.
Yeah, it'll be perfect. But so he does make a point of saying that after going through like the first couple of his articles, you kind of hit a point where the cards he's now going to they're run too much, but there are reasons to run them. And Beseech the Queen is one of those cards where it's like, if you're in mono black, run Beseech the Queen. Especially now with a Toxic Deluge as just like a marquee card, it means you can search up your Toxic Deluge for turn 4. Or once you have 6 mana, you can just Beseech into Toxic Deluge. Or Bantu's Last Reckoning, even.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, Bantu's Last Reckoning is...
Yeah. There are some very good reasons to have Beseech the Queen in mono black or like heavily black.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, you're kind of stretching the point of using Beseech the Queen over other options.
I like his article premise, though. It's basically the inverse of my series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the deck at the end. That's
I was
cute.
just looking at it too.
Oh yeah, his Bad Nauseum deck.
Yeah, Sidisi Bad Nauseum. That's cute.
He's got 90 lands.
It's probably pretty cheap, too.
Glacial Chasm just jumped.
It's a budget deck. Oh.
It's also got a Vamp Tutor, so that's not gonna...
Yeah, but this has got to be less than 100 total, with 89 swamps in there.
Yeah, but the whole deck probably costs $30 or less. Probably less than that.
So you have 89 swamps and 11 real cards that you have to buy. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Dana is a funny man.
Dean is hilarious. What about you guys? Any good articles this month in July?
I've been so busy moving. It's dumb. I've had very little time to even write my own article, which is why I'm crying and like panicking that I only have a third of a deck to talk about right now.
Yep, I hear you.
And you got to build it for next weekend.
So you can show Dana how ripped you are.
Yeah. Come at me, bro. I'm throwing down.
Speaking of throwing down, we just played a game. Our last game. Yeah, we needed a quick game right before our episode, so we all pulled out our quick game decks.
Mm-hmm. And it was very quick, oddly. Like, we didn't pull out our quick game decks and, like, somehow go to a stalemate. We actually, like, finished in, like, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we did.
I won't say it's because of me, because it was.
All right, what did you do?
Yeah, so what were you playing?
I was playing my Mogus discard deck. We talked about it a little last week. My Mogus discard...
It's not a discard deck.
The discard happens to be because I like specters more than anything else. Basically, if you're running red and black and you're a combo player, there should be one combo that is like right there in front of your face. And that's World Gorger Dragon plus like Animate Dead or Dance of the Dead or Necromancy. There you go. You can also play that one at instant speed.
So you're looking for enchantment auras that...
Enchant creature in graveyard.
Enchant a creature in the graveyard.
It's very specific because World Gorger Dragon will exile everything, all your permanents when it enters the battlefield. So if you reanimate it with, Animate Dead...
The Animate Dead will leave play.
Yeah, it will leave play, and then World Gorger Dragon leaves play, bringing back all of the permanents that you came back that were exiled with World Gorger. And then you just target World Gorger Dragon again. And so you just need any enter the battlefield effect that will deal damage or make people lose life.
Like Grey Merchant of Asphodel.
Or Piranha Marsh.
Or both of them.
I had both of them out, and I quickly ended the game when I did that on like turn 8. Yep.
On the turn that I was...
Yeah.
The turn before I was going to cast my Primal Surge. Yeah. So I was playing Rurik Thar. My deck is mostly mono creatures, punishing mostly control, like blue instant and sorcery spell decks. There's some other stuff in there. But this particular game, Centaur Omen Reader, was an absolute house. I got it down on turn 3 or 4, and I usually had someone to attack. Sorry, Nate. And if not, I got my Holdout Settlement out, which taps a creature and itself to give you 1 mana of any color, and Centaur Omen Reader wants to be tapped. As long as he's tapped, your creature spells cost 2 less to cast. And then there's also the Survivor's Encampment from Hour of Devastation, which does the same thing as Holdout Settlement. So you get 2 of them in the same deck for some redundancy.
Yeah, I use them in King Makar, the Gold Curse.
They don't cost you a land slot or anything because they can tap on their own even without a creature to produce a colorless mana.
Yeah, it doesn't set you back too much.
What does set you back too much is if you get hit by a Master of Cruelties on turn 6 and you don't have any blockers.
I thought about saving you, but it didn't seem worth it.
Yeah, that's generally how it goes. And then if Mogus is out, then either I can sacrifice a creature, which I don't have because I got no blockers, or I can take 2 damage, which will kill me because Master of Cruelties puts me on 1 life. So I just gotta keep casting creatures every turn.
You sacrificed Kefnet, the Mindful, and yep,
I
and
did.
Arjun
the Shifting Flame. Yep. And I can't cast anything else because Rurik Thar's on the field. And if I cast anything other than a creature, then he does 6 damage to me.
What did you have in suspend, Nate?
Oh, I had a Wheel of Fate suspended before any of this took off.
So once that went off,
yeah, there was a clock. I had a clock.
Yeah, you were not getting out of that one.
Not without some. Need a creature that can remove Rurik Thar.
In an Izzet deck.
Yeah. So I died.
Yeah. I was surprised at how long you were living. I didn't have to. I mean, I could have killed you the turn that I attacked you with Master of Cruelties, but I kind of wanted to just see how long you could survive. Because I had the Piranha.
I wriggled on that.
I had
hook.
that Piranha Marsh in hand, so all I had to do was attack you with the Master and then play the Piranha Marsh and ping you. But
But it was more fun to watch me squirm.
Yeah, I wanted to see if you could get out of it.
Is what you're saying.
That sounded fun.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to see if I could get out of that. But I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Speaking of getting out of it, let's get out of this segment. How about the pets?
Ba-bum-bum.
The Pets Update.
Whose update is Boba Fett?
Oh, yeah. So when our cat sitter, we were gone for a week, our cat sitter took care of everything. But we have a Lego mini figurine that's on a refrigerator magnet, and it's Boba Fett. And since the cats like to attack anything protruding from the refrigerator, we need to move them all to a very centralized place on the front of the refrigerator. But they got Boba Fett down on the last day. We found his backpack in the hallway, and we found his body on the bathroom counter, and we don't know where the magnet is.
He's no longer the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Well, now he's Emperor Snoke.
Ooh.
Oh, is that your tinfoil hat theory?
I told you about that, right? That's... it's aluminum foil, sir.
Well, excuse me.
It's very high-quality aluminum. So, yeah, mark my words.
Interesting.
Supreme Leader Snoke is Boba Fett. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting. All right. Well, in our news, Hattie made a friend at the field where I walk her up the street. She met a dog named Bob. He's Bob the dog. He's a big pit mix, and he gets really tired really easily because when he was a puppy, he got heartworm, and he's got damage in his lungs or his heart, so he gets real tired. But he's really big and friendly, and Hattie likes to prove how much faster she is than he is.
So he lays down and she runs around him in circles? Yeah,
and he tries to run, and then he gets really tired and lays down. And, you just kind of rinse and repeat.
That sounds a lot like my dog, only he never had worms. My dog's just lazy. And Talon is learning how to bark in a conversational way with the dog downstairs. Yeah. Yeah, they're learning about each other. They're barking, but like it's not aggressive or like trying to alert anything. It's just like, hi, hi, hi. Hey, you still there?
Like the Brian Regan segment.
Yeah. It's just like that. And Talon has never been much of a barker up until now. But now he has a friend that he can bark at. And we hope it doesn't last too long.
So those are our pet updates. You can tweet your pet updates to @commandtime. And if you don't have a pet, maybe consider adopting one. Here, we'll do Ernie, because Ernie looks doofy.
He is goofy.
Yeah.
She is a cat named Ernie.
Wait.
It says gender female,
says
but in
male.
the text it says he. And his name is Ernie,
Probably male.
2 out of 3, let's say male. I don't know. You'll find out. So, anyway. So, Ernie is a domestic short-haired kitten, medium size. He's born this year in May. And he's got a goofy-looking face.
He's got one of those, like, evil, scheming kind of faces. He's got, like, a Dr. Claw face.
Well, half his face.
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. Wait, you never see Dr. Claw's face.
No, but you see his cat's face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fang, right?
Or Azrael from the Smurfs.
Maybe they're the same cat.
And you can rescue Ernie from Janine the Bean Rescue Inc.
No, Azrael was orange. Now I gotta look up Azrael the cat.
Orange striped?
Ernie is not orange striped.
No. He has some nice whiskers though.
Yeah, he's got one of those real fluffy, soft-looking coats.
And he's thinking about stuff.
He's always thinking about stuff. So we'll drop a link to Ernie on Twitter when this episode comes out.
Cool.
Ba-dum-bum.
Episode.
Outro music.
Music.
Work.
Visit us at patreon.com/commandertime.
You can find me on Twitter at Grubfellow.
At Detective Yarmus.
At Mr. Plorg.
I'm in red, it's absurd. All these artifacts on the board. Wanna kill them, they're too much. And there's more than one I wanna crush. I see your soul in every game. Your turn one signet is super lame. Your artifacts, they bother me. Too many for my shattering spree. Oh, those are some nice manor rocks that you found. Oh, let's have some fun. I just cast me a Vandal Blast. Overload my Vandal Blast. 5 mana for my Vandal Blast. I don't want any artifacts on your side of the board.